birthday, 70 plus one day or something like that. I'm just kidding. All right, folks.
Look at this,
Tuesday,
70.
4 p.m. 4 p.m. markets close. Really good day in the stock market. Again, this week has been great. You know why? Because tomorrow and Thursday, the Fed is going to meet, and the expectation is to lower interest rates another 0.25%. As the Fed lowers rates, markets react positively. That's just the way things work. Dow is up another 160 or so. Nasdaq had a great day, up 190. Weird thing happened. Gold backed off a little bit, 48. Oil, this is good. The good news, under $60 a barrel again. Very good for the economy. But the one that's just got me baffled, crypto cannot get out of its own way. I don't know what's going on. When they lower interest rates, crypto should be moving up with the rest of the asset markets. It's just not. Bitcoin down a couple $1,000 to the Bitcoin. So not really sure what that's all about. All right, folks, that's the market wrap for today. All right, our first guest says the Chinese always dishonor their agreements with the United States. Here to discuss is author of Plan Red, China's Project to Destroy America, Mr. Gordon Chang. Gordon, let's just go through this a little bit. Trump is trying to negotiate with China. We know they cheat. We know they lie. We know they steal our intellectual property. Is there any way to trust the Chinese government? And why are we negotiating with them?
I think we're negotiating with them, Eric, because the president wants some time in order to reduce our vulnerability to China's rare earth embargo and potentially a pharmaceutical embargo. And he also thinks that there are other things that we can do. Now, you're absolutely right. The Chinese always cheat. They always lie. And President Trump should know this because it was his January 2020 phase one trade deal that he negotiated. And the Chinese almost immediately violated it, and they openly violated it. And remember, this probably had an impact on the results of the election in November of that year. So this is something that I'm sure is keenly at the forefront of President Trump's consciousness. But he does feel he needs to have a deal with them. And so that's why we're probably going to see something on Thursday, that framework that Treasury Secretary Bessent talked about. But let's remember, we are trading a concrete benefit, the not imposing the additional 100% tariff, and we're getting vague Chinese promises. And this has just never worked in the past.
You know, one of the fascinating things that I just can't wrap my brain around is in China, individuals cannot own stuff individually. They have to be in businesses and properties. They have to be in bed, so to speak, with the Chinese government. So all these deals of Chinese companies coming over here, buying our farmland, buying into some of the most important assets that we have over here. We're really in bed, so to speak, with the leaders, Xi Jinping and some of the people who really don't want us to survive. They want to take us over. China wants to be the biggest economy, strongest economy, and maybe military on the planet, right?
Yes. Well, I don't hold it against any country to want to be number one. But the reason why China is the concern is because it's using malicious tactics. So, for instance, it's behind the fentanyl gangs that killed 48,000 Americans last year and 72,000 in the year before that. So really what we're talking about is a regime that, as you say, wants to destroy America. It doesn't want to compete with us. It doesn't want to adjust the international system. It wants to take it down altogether and impose worldwide Chinese rule. So, yeah, that's the reason why we've got to be extremely concerned. And one other thing, you mentioned farmland. No American can own a square inch of land in China. So why are we allowing the Chinese to own thousands of square miles in our country? The Communist Party has a top-down system, which means that no Chinese person, no Chinese entity can resist the demand from the Communist Party. And we know that the party's demands are indeed really dangerous to us.
Gordon, over the last couple of years, Xi Jinping, maybe there's a reason for this. Xi Jinping has been pretty cozy with Putin. And what I'm getting at is he taking a cue from Putin going into Ukraine for his next step, which could be Taiwan, likely will be Taiwan? Where do we stand on that? And what happens if that does happen? I mean, we're all over the board of what we're going to do if China does attack Taiwan. I mean, we've been telling them, well, we have to defend Taiwan. Then we've been telling them, well, maybe we won't. How close is that to happening? And what will be the U.S. response, do you think?
Yeah, China thinks that the history of the world is going to be written on the fields of Ukraine. And, we may disagree, but that's the way Chinese think. And that's why China supports support for Russia in Ukraine is all in. And so I think we need to take our cue from what the Chinese are doing. Now, I don't necessarily think Taiwan is the most logical place for China to strike, but we are seeing very dangerous activities really weakly in the South China Sea against the Philippines at places like Scarborough Shoal, Second Thomas Shoal, Sandy Cay. And in fact, right now, China is starting to reclaim Scarborough Shoal. And this has to be a red line for us for a lot of reasons. So it is extremely volatile right now in that body of water. And this is where we need to start paying attention.
Here's something important, though, Gordon, and you'll know this. So many politicians threaten. We're going to put them in jail. We're going to make sure we told China, do not build military bases in the South China Sea. And what did they do? They took all the sand. They took all the earth. They made islands and turned them into military bases. And all of a sudden, time goes by and they're still there and they're still using them, likely plotting their next takeover. When do we say no to China? Can you say no to China?
Well, we can say no to China for a lot of reasons. For instance, their military, although it has a lot of weapons, and some of them are actually better than ours, is really not configured to fight. They are not ready yet. And where we say no is Scarborough Shoal for a lot of reasons. Just to give you one example, in 2012, we had the Chinese basically seize the shoal from the Obama administration, which had negotiated a deal between Beijing and Manila on Scarborough so that everybody would back off, but only the Philippines complied. After they saw the weak Obama response, actually a Biden response, because he was the foreign policy czar, the Chinese then actually started to militarize those islands in the Spratlys that you referred to. They then went after the Philippines at Second Thomas Shoal, and they ramped up pressure against Japan in the East China Sea at the islands that the Japanese call the Senkakus. So Obama taught the Chinese that aggression works, and that's why we're living with this legacy of very dangerous activities in that body of water.
Xi Jinping was at Mar-a-Lago having baked Alaska, if I'm not mistaken, when Trump dropped bombs in Syria, military air base in Syria with Russian military being housed at that air base. Does he fear Trump or no?
Well, he feared Trump then. That was April 2017, and it was chocolate cake, Eric.
Okay, I stand corrected.
So anyway, remember the most beautiful chocolate cake in the world? Right. And yes, Trump got up in dinner and announced the missile strike on the Syrian bases. And Xi Jinping was flummoxed. And he was actually on relatively good behavior during the 4 years of the first Trump administration. Right now, I don't think Xi Jinping respects us. It's very clear. That's what they tell visitors. They think the United States is done. Now, I think they're seriously wrong. But the point is, the Chinese mentality right now is very aggressive.
All right, Gordon, really good having you. I think this is just the first chapter of a very, very long book between Russia, China, Trump, United States, and who knows whom else. It's not getting any more comforting, the global foreign policy picture right now. Gordon Chang, thank you for your time, sir.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Eric, and stay safe.
All right, folks. All righty, folks. Buy gold and get free silver. That's exactly right. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold Group this month in advance of Veterans Day, November 11th, they will send you a free patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Gold is up over 50% since the beginning of this year alone, and Birch Gold can help you own it by converting an existing IRA or 401k into a tax-sheltered IRA in physical gold. That's right, actual physical gold, not paper, real gold coins and bars. Plus, they'll send you that free silver honoring our veterans on qualifying purchases. And if you're current or former military, Birch Gold has a special offer for you just for you. They're waiving the custodial fees for the first year on investments of any amount with an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and tens of thousands of very happy customers, many of which are my listeners, and I'm one of them myself, actually. I encourage you to diversify your savings into gold with the Birch Gold Group. Text the word America to the number 989898 for a free info kit and to claim your eligibility for free silver with qualifying purchases before the end of the month. Again, text that word America to 989898. Do it today. And this, very, very important. I have a next episode. It's going to blow your mind. A boxer, influencer, just an all-around amazing dude who's ripping it up in the world, both influencing and boxing. We are growing an insane number, 100 times the average YouTube show because of you. All because you folks are signing up. You're subscribing. All you have to do is hit that QR code, take the next screen, QR code with your camera. It'll come right up. Press the button. You're subscribed. Never charged a penny ever. I promise you. Just use that code or go to youtube.com. Go to YouTube and type in Eric Bolling the Edge. Eric Bolling the Edge. Hit subscribe. You help me out. I thank you for your support. I thank you for your viewership. And I especially thank you for your subscription to that because we are blowing the doors off it because of you. Thank you so much. We'll be back 2.5 minutes.